Hello and welcome to the show your parents, the PTA and the asleep don't want you to hear. The heliosblog. Today, Kevin Samuels annihilates a divorced nurse with 2 kids. What could go wrong here?
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about real high-value men? Are we talking about Order 66? Or are we talking about stuff from Brittany Renner? What are we doing? Or do you have a question?
I wanted to talk about like high value men. Well, not specifically, but like I'm a person who I feel like I'm high value.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not interested specifically in a high value
I feel like
man, and I know you
operative
said
statement.
that all women are. I want a man that just respects me and understands that.
She just told on herself. She wants a man that respects her. Translation: I've only ever chosen men that don't respect me.
You know, the type of life that I live.
Now I've had my fun and I'm ready to settle down with a man that does.
Okay.
And I'm okay with somebody who's just for me. Like, I really feel like God may have put
Someone who's just for me. Translation: the last guy I was with cheated on me with multiple other girls. Now I want to lose a beta male who'll be just with me.
a person in place for me. And I'm not gonna.
Let me.
decide that I'm
You
not
mind if I
gonna-
ask you? Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes.
So, do you have any children?
Yes. 400.
Yes.
How many?
40.
2.
By the same father or different fathers?
Obviously different.
Same.
All right. Would you like to be married one day?
I would like to be
No,
married.
never.
Okay. Would you like to have any additional children after you're married?
If asked by my husband, I would definitely have children for him.
Oh, cool. Do you care if your possible husband has children?
I don't. If I'm gonna have them, then I would have to equal the playing fields for him too.
Okay.
Smart.
So, if you had kids, how many more would you have? 1, 2, 3, 4?
I would have 1,000 if that person that was for me wanted 1,000 for a kid.
Girls are like clueless, man. Like, doesn't understand. Like, kids cost money.
Okay. Now let's be realistic. Now I'm trying to be real.
No, I would.
Ma'am,
if
you
he
can't have
asked
1,000.
me
You can't have
if I
1,000
would
kids,
have-
ma'am. I appreciate the exact, but I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
How many kids?
However many he would want, I would have those kids.
Oh, okay. So let's say he wanted 2 kids. It's 2. You're 35, right?
It's not happening.
Yes.
So,
Geriatric pregnancy starts at 37. Also, fertility sharply drops at 37, by the way. Which means that the likelihood of carrying a child to term is very low. The likelihood of the kids having a genetic disorder is very high.
after you're married, would you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant with your next child?
Yes, I would like to continue to work. I like
I said no. The question I asked, would you want to have to work? Not would you like. I said, would you want to have to?
I don't want to have to work.
Indeed.
Okay. So, if you had 2 more children, so that'd be 4 total. If he had none, what percentage of the overall family financial load would you, as a wife and a mother of 4, want to have to be responsible for a lifetime?
0.
Meaning right
want to-
now, meaning right now, as an unmarried woman, you have to be responsible for 100% of your family financial load. But as a married woman, what percentage of the overall family financial load? That means the children, that means the mortgage, the cars, if the children want to go to college, the family trips, the vacations, the investments, what overall percentage do you want to have to be responsible for?
50. I feel like that's reasonable. 50%.
So 50%
She wants to be responsible for 50%? That's pretty rare.
means if you stop working or lose your job or cease to earn, the family is at critical risk.
Right.
Okay, so that means if you stop, let's just say you got sick or you broke up, that means you want half of the financial burden to be on you. So that means that's a lot. So that means you end up, are you sure?
I'm positive. I'm very
I don't think she understands what she's saying.
about money.
Okay, ma'am. I just want to be clear. 50% is a high burden. So that means you go out, every dollar that's spent, 50% is yours. If there's a kid's college and tuition, if the tuition is $15,000, you got to come up with $7,500. 50% is a high burden, but let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
What state do you live in?
Illinois. I'm from Chicago.
Okay, Chicago. What kind of annual income do you think you would need for a middle class lifestyle for a family of 4? What kind of
this is almost like a reality TV show, right? You ask them the same question, and then you watch and you're like, you just laugh at the delusion and lunacy of these answers.
To have a decent home, have access to good public schools, things like that. What do you think you need for annual income combined?
She doesn't know.
For 2 adults and 4 people.
She doesn't know.
Children.
For 2 adults.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know.
150 would be okay.
150?
Yes.
That would not be enough.
Are you a nurse?
Because yes, I am. I've been making around that up until this year, and I have a really huge house and really great neighborhood.
But I need you to listen. You said you've been making that?
Yes.
Around that? Okay, but we're talking about doubling what you have. So you'd be if you only had 150 total, that means you'd be taking a half a step back. You need more. So you want to rethink about that? Because if you already are living at 150 level, you need more for another adult because he has to make some money than the other kids.
Right. So I'm considering that, like, for example, last year I didn't work for 8 months and I was able to cover my bills with my
Okay, but that's no, ma'am. See, no. See, you ladies start to overcomplicate things. I just need the number. If you make 150, that means the man could come in, be your husband, and have to make no money. If you say all you need is 150,
I'm not asking to make any money. You asked what would be a comfortable amount.
Yes, for a family of 6 people, not 3. You got that for 3 people?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, stop trying to outthink the question. Please, stop trying to outthink the question.
Okay.
That's not going to get you anywhere. If it's you and your 2 kids on 150, a man, a husband, and 2 more kids, how much more money are you going to need?
She's a nurse, which means she has a university degree, and she still can't do the math. It just shows girls just live a totally different reality, right, than guys. As a girl, you don't have to know anything, right? That's what it shows. What does this girl know?
I feel like this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. I feel like for example, what I'm making now could even cover that. I'm not saying I want to cover all that.
That's not what I asked, ma'am.
Kevin is extremely stressed, you can tell. I'm not surprised he died of a heart disease, to be honest. He's constantly frustrated and annoyed.
That's not what I asked. And this is why I start to, okay, ma'am, this is why, okay, ma'am, if you're good with money, we don't have to talk about feeling. This is why it starts to run off the rails, because you ladies become disingenuous. Stop this bullshit.
Okay.
You're saying that right now you feel like you could take on a husband and 2 kids and y'all can live on $150,000 and be comfortable. Is that what I'm hearing?
I feel that way.
Okay.
I know you want me to go up.
Oh, God damn it. See, this is why this conversation gets off the rails. Because when women start to try to outthink the questions, you're trying to maneuver. So are you living at your budget right now? Are you living at what you earn?
Well, I live a little lower than what I earn. I live lower.
Okay, but it's in the ballpark of what you earn. In the ballpark.
Somewhat.
Not somewhat. Okay, then, ma'am, right there,
this is actually
then
insane.
You couldn't. Because a man coming in and 2 additional children, if you're living at your income, you'd have to decrease your standard of living. Simple math. Simple math. Ma'am, if you're living at $100,000 income, if a man comes in and you have 2 children, that doubles the amount of people.
This sounds like those school word problems, and then the kid in the audience, which is the girl listening, just zones out.
You would have to decrease your standard of living or increase your income annually. Everybody in the chat room understands what I'm saying. So we shouldn't have got off task here. You're trying to outthink the question. Do you want a man to be earning roughly what you make? Or do you want to be the...
She's trying to like virtue signal and guard a reputation, you know, classic girl stuff.
Or do you want to be the breadwinner?
I genuinely don't mind being the breadwinner.
All right, but let's cut the shit. If you want to be responsible let's cut the shit. If you want to be responsible for 50% of the family financial load, that means a man has to make what you're making or more to cover his 50%. Is that simple enough? That should be simple enough, right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So $150,000 a year.
She still
What
doesn't
percentage
get it.
of men make $150,000 a year or more?
Very small. We already know this.
I think you said something like 20%.
Nope. Way less.
Less than 10%. Class, this woman said, I don't necessarily want a high value man. And she just by the numbers, she wants a man who's making high value money.
Yep.
So do you want to go ahead? No, ma'am, stop.
You can't make this crap up.
Stop, be quiet. Please stop. I did all that for a reason because I need to show that you ladies think, I don't really want a man that's doing that much. And you still want a man earning the top 10%.
Yep.
That's high value money.
Yep.
Do you at least acknowledge that?
No.
Yes or no?
No, I really don't mind, Kevin. I really don't mind.
To say no.
It's not afraid to say no, ma'am, because you've already, there's no afraid to say no, ma'am. I'm just using what you said. There's no afraid to say anything, ma'am. I asked you. You want to get married? Yes. How much, what percentage, if you want to have additional kids, 1,000 children. This is why this shit matters, because y'all talk out of one side of your mouth and live out the other side of your neck. And you never put 2 and 2 together. And you say, I'm not looking for a high value man, but then you looking for a man who's making high value money, living like an average good old Joe. But that ain't what you want either. I've been doing this for too long, ma'am. So the questions I ask aren't to trip you up. It's to crystallize that you, somebody who says is good with money, they ain't even thought about what it really means.
Yep.
You are not going to decrease your standard of living when you're married. You're not going to marry a man and get pregnant at 35 and have 1-2 children and decrease the standard of living that you and your
It's not going to happen.
2 children currently have and live at 150,000. Anybody in the chat room with any damn sense knows you want a man to be earning at least what you're earning because you want to be responsible for 50%. That means a man has to be responsible for 50%. So he has to make at least what you're making. By math, 2 + 2 is 4. If you want to be responsible for 50% of 4, what is 50% of 4?
She doesn't know because she doesn't
2.
do math. She's a nurse.
If you want to be responsible for 50% of 3, what is 50% of 3? 1.5. You got 1.5. So you want a man at 1.5. That is the top 10% of men. The top 10% of men are not looking for 35-year-old baby mamas.
It's
or
true.
2 kids.
Yep.
They're not.
True words.
So, in retrospect, you're saying that I don't need to be looking for a high value man.
You're
not that you don't need it to be. You are, and so you are doomed. That's what he's saying.
Calling him high value, but you still want him to be earning what you're earning. Because you don't want to take a step back in your standard of living.
You're calculating this as if my bills are $150,000.
I don't. No. I'm calculating. No bullshit. Don't try to play those games with me. I'm too good at this. I'm calculating what you said. I don't need to know your bills. I need to know that you want to be responsible for 50% of the overall family financial load. So that means he has to be responsible for the other 50%. And you're already living at one level. Ain't nobody in here stupid. Women don't take a step back to get married. Get married to take steps back. They get married to take steps forward, or at least maintain.
Yup.
You're not trying to be the breadwinner for a man. Nobody's crazy, man. So what you need to understand is maybe you don't call it high value because you associate it with being rich and famous and jewels and this, but it's still the same money. The bank doesn't care. The mortgage doesn't care. Your lifestyle is set for a single woman with 2 children earning what you make. You're not living at a $40,000 a year salary. You're living at what you can afford, like most people. This is why you grown ass women become disingenuous, because you don't even sit down and think about what it means. We haven't even gotten to what the man wants, but I'm just fixing on the fact that so many women like yourself come in and say, I don't necessarily need a man who's high value. And then you proceed to describe a man who's earning high value.
Yep.
It happens every day.
That's right.
Every day it happens.
So, Mr. Samuels.
Here we go.
Can I ask you a question?
The fake respectful behavior.
I mean, it's the thing is, so you're saying that basically I don't qualify to date somebody that would, on paper, be my standard. So what do I qualify for?
Well, let's start here. Let's start here. Let's start at the plant. Let's start here. That's that's a general statement. I said that high value men are not looking for 35-year-old baby mamas of 2. In general, they are not. But let's start. How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Dress size?
Size 8.
How much did you weigh the last time you weighed yourself?
So Vatican.
159. Oh my God.
One what?
I want to say that.
159?
159.
It's not a dress size 8.
I work out every day.
No, you don't.
I take care of myself.
Okay. Hey, ma'am. Okay. What would you, on the fresh face out of the shower, your natural hair, no makeup, just your face, what would you give yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? You can't use 7.
I would say a 9.
What did she say?
So at 35 years old,
you think you're a 9?
A 9. Fresh face out of the shower. So you'd put yourself you put yourself in the pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous category. So Beyonce's an 8. Beyonce's an 8. Kelly Rowland is a 9. Rihanna's a 10. Where in your life have you had 9 outcomes? Meaning, let me back up. Your child's father. You guys weren't married, right?
We were.
You were. Okay. Did he go to college?
He did.
What did he do for a living? You don't have to be 100% specific, but what did he do?
He's a nurse.
Okay. So, does he earn more than you?
He does now.
Okay.
He has a doctorate.
So
he does now.
A 9 in Chicago. I'll give you somebody like Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray, she's an 8. Back in her day. Lisa Ray back in her day was an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you're Chicago, you know the kind of women that get 9s, men who are 9s. Women who are 9s. All right. But your child's father, your ex-husband, was a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get higher than your baby daddy, your child's father,
Okay.
because no disrespect, man, but you're not a 9, you're a 6. You're cute,
Okay.
but you're not a 9. That's not an insult. You're cute. But 9s are women who are pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous. These are the kind of women that people walk down the street and they're like, "Ooh, have you ever modeled before?" Or, "Hey, go ahead."
There is no way that has happened to you before.
Go ahead. You muted yourself.
Can
Go
you
ahead.
hear me?
I can now. Go ahead.
I said I get that. I've actually modeled before. I've done sports modeling.
Okay, ma'am. Model. I don't. Okay.
When?
I don't mean print model. I mean like. Okay, it's fine. 5'3". You're not really model height. Your print work, sure.
Right.
I get. So my point is, I'm not saying you're not an attractive woman, but you're not a 9, especially at 35 with 2 kids. I mean, I love to understand what system you ladies are using. If you're a 9, 35 with 2 children,
what were
10?
you when you were 20 years old? Yeah,
ma'am, you muted yourself.
You're asking me what is my opinion about my physical appearance?
Okay, ma'am, but your physical appearance needs to be.
Opinion is not the same as objective reality.
Okay, unmute yourself. You muted yourself. You keep muting yourself. I don't do this. I'm not doing this. Hello?
Oh, there it is. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, ma'am, your opinion, like a grown adult, needs to be rooted in reality.
Yep.
Not fantasy. So you can't say and look me straight in the face and say, my opinion of myself is I'm a 9. Then who is a 10 on your scale?
And I would say Beyonce's a 10.
Okay.
Meghan Trainor.
She's an 8.
And that's why I said, and you're beneath her. She's an 8. She's an 8. You would put her at a 10, but Beyonce is an 8. Ma'am, you're not that, ma'am, my point of the matter is, so let me get to the ultimate point. One of the big problems is you ladies overvalue yourselves. You overrank yourself.
Yep.
You're not a 9. And especially as a divorced woman with 2 children. Okay? So your child's father is what you could score, land, marry. And who filed for divorce in your marriage?
Of course it was her.
I did.
We grew apart.
He was verbally abusive.
So, and what did you do? And you were just quiet? You didn't respond?
No, of course not.
Yes.
Yeah, her mouthy nature and talking back to Kevin, she totally never responded. Never.
Police report trial?
I'm sorry.
Did it ever get physical?
Once.
All right. I'm going to go down that path. How long were you guys married?
8 years.
All right. So in general, ma'am, women across the board can expect to get what the man that a woman chose to reproduce with tends to be the upper limit of what she can get with men.
Yep.
Tends to be. So I'm not saying it's 100%, but even at that, ma'am, you're still looking for somebody who's earning on the level you're earning. And you're not looking for an average guy making $41,000 a year. Right?
Definitely not. She's a nurse.
Or wrong? Nope.
Not 41,000.
Thank you.
How could she go below standards like that?
So when and why I get so granular is these ladies come through the door virtue signaling, talking about I just want a man who's a good man, who's this and that.
Yeah,
when it really does come down to the money.
Yep. That's right.
Gentlemen, your godfather is right again. Do not let them virtue signal and gaslight you, because it does come. She thinks she's a 9. She thinks she deserves a man on her level, earning what she's earning. Cool. Can't change that, but ma'am, that ain't, if you don't have that approaching you in your life for serious relationship and consideration for marriage, that should tell you something.
Yep, that's right.
Do you have
Well, that's
men
the thing. I do.
for marriage?
It's just that
For marriage? I don't mean that.
I've been proposed to a couple of times in the past since my divorce.
That's not the compliment you think it is.
Okay, and these guys were earning, and these guys did what for a living?
Well, the last guy, he was a physician. The other guy,
I see.
He was a mechanic?
Ah, I understand. You destroyed your marriage because you wanted to branch into a doctor. Ah, there it is. The plot thickens.
Accountant.
So you've had an accountant and a physician propose to you.
Right.
How long did you date the physician?
2 weeks.
Like less than a year. It was 11 months.
And how long did you date the accountant?
Maybe about 2 years.
And why didn't you marry either one of those men?
Weren't good enough.
The accountant was cheating.
Big surprise.
And physician, I just really felt like we didn't mash well together.
Okay.
So why were you with him then?
You've had one husband with 2 children, right?
Right.
Okay. You've had an accountant and a physician. Why do you think this video game gives you unlimited lives?
That's right.
I don't feel like it does. I just want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions.
Ma'am,
it's too late.
Okay, ma'am, but ma'am, do you make room for the possibility?
You already screwed it up.
I mean, come on, ma'am. You said you're 9 and 35. I mean, I see that's the problem. I hear so many women acting like y'all are such a prize, and I don't want to make the wrong decision and this and that. Okay, well, then grow old by yourself.
Indeed.
No, I don't.
And that's what a lot of things is, ma'am. If I'm just going on what you said. If you've had an accountant you spent 2 years with and he was cheating, I'll just take that. A physician you spent 11 months with and you didn't mesh, ma'am. Women and men in the chat room are asking, what the hell is this lady looking for?
Indeed.
And it's perfection, because truthfully, I get it. When you overvalue yourselves, anybody, you tend to hold out for what you think you're worth.
Yep. Delusion and regret. That's what these girls are left with. Alright, let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications, drop me a donation. Like Hunter M, Adrian L, Tom and Bobby Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, and Alan. Shoutouts to you, most recent purchaser of Strategist Guide to Seduction. Thank you. You can buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks, and thank you to everyone that has already done so. I really do appreciate it. Go to my Patreon and subscribe. It's patreon.com/theheliosblog. Want me to help you out? Well, I do offer coaching. Just message me at theheliosblog@gmail.com. I'll slot you right in. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.